Okay, so I got the lips done. I went more with the natural look. I saw a couple drawings where it's bright red lipstick, some were just kind of natural and stuff. So I want to go more with the natural. I don't want her to have any like heavy makeup and stuff. So the next step is we're going to start doing underneath the skirt. I just want to get underneath the skirt. I want to get some, you know, get in there, get some paint. I decided to do blue skirt, white underwear. But the problem is trying to get underneath that area. So if you have a paintbrush, what you could do is you could bend the tip of it. So by bending this tip, I can actually get under here a little bit more, you know, and I could get around areas. Now, if you have a paintbrush and you try to bend up too close up to the tip, what'll happen is all the needles will start kind of warping, because if that circle isn't gripping them, like, you know, this is how the thing grips your needle. So if you start to warp it and this warps out like in a circle, these needles start coming out. So you don't want to do that. So you got to try to sort of bend it a little bit further. So you have to be, you know, sometimes these pieces of wood or whatever go up too high, and then when you bend it, you break it and it causes issues. But this one, I was kind of lucky when I bent this one that I could get underneath there. So now I got something where I could try to get underneath here and take my time, and then afterwards I can do the white area there and I could do the back there. So it's a little bit tricky, it takes some time, but it'll get there. Okay, so off camera I did a lot of the blue underneath the skirt, and then I started working out the white on the bottoms. We'll call them bottoms for the video. And so as I got the white in there, it was very, very strong, very potent. You know, it was like just sticking out way too much. So I figured, you know, I got to take these down a little bit. So what I did is I went over here and I got a lot of this women's makeup, because I don't like using pastels, because I like this stuff better. It goes on smoother. It just comes off the paintbrush really nice, and I just like the way a lot of these variation colors blend. So some of these colors actually have a pearl tint to them. It's got like some pearl glitter in there. And what I'm doing is I'm finding my off-whites and my whites in the drawer. I got to go through some more of them. And I'm making these bottoms look silky now. So I just have to seal it up when I'm done. I just got to use some flat varnish in there. But it's kind of working out pretty cool where it's looking silky and it's not pure white jumping out at you. So that's kind of what I'm going for. I got a little bit of touching up to do here and there, but it's a little bit tricky to get in there. You got to really take your time and keep blending. But these women's makeup and stuff like pastels, you can use pastels if you like them better. I just don't like pastels because this stuff is so fine, it's already ready to go. So I'm going to get in there a little bit more, work it out a bit, and I think once I get there and it's sealed up and everything, we can actually start doing all the other trim on the item. Okay, so got the face pretty much ready to go. I did the eyelashes, I did some eyebrows, we got the trim around the yellow of the hair. Now, when I was mixing the yellow in that little container I used for mixing colors, yellow always seems to pick up a color at the bottom sometimes. I don't know why. So it started picking up some blues, so it started to turn in the color to green, so that's why I had to grab my wax paper and use fresh yellows and browns and stuff. But the hair's not going to look like that. That's just throwing some color there just to get it down for now. So this way it's easier to mask. But we got the white on the upper shirt. We'll do the black at the end once we do the white shirt. But we're going to mask off and get the skirt going now. And we did the trim on the boots. I'm probably going to do some trim on the gloves too, just to get that away off camera. But when we do the white shirt, we'll have the white gloves ready to go so we can do them both at the same time. Alright, so we have silly putty up top, silly putty on bottom of the masking, and then saran wrap around there. So now the skirt is open and we can paint this up. I want it to look like a silky satin skirt because a lot of the pictures doesn't seem like it's flat, but it seems like sometimes they add like a little bit of a shiniest like black to it, so it kind of feels like it's kind of a silk, you know, skirt. So that's kind of what I want to go for. So I have this blue bottle here of Superman colors that I've used in the past for like Supergirls and Superman and stuff like that. And I think there's enough in there for the skirt. I'm pretty sure there's plenty in there. So once I get that on there, I'm going to use some of this Badger blue, which is very watery, but it's a good shading blue. It's not like very, very black, but it's not light blue as you can kind of see in the bottle. So that's going to be, I don't want to go any further than that. I really don't want to add black into it, but we'll see. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. Then once that blue's on there, we got the shading. I want to give it some kind of like an interference or pearlized blue, just hints. I don't want to go overboard. So I have this interference blue here, which I'll probably hit it with. And then if I think that I need to do any pearlized blue, I will, but I probably won't. I got these blues over here just in case I need to mix up more and there's not enough in the bottle. And then once it's all said and done, I'll use a satin varnish over on top of it to kind of dull it down and make sure it's not too shiny, but make sure it's not flat. We want to give it that middle ground. I might actually too, I'm not sure yet, depending on how it works, I might mix gloss varnish and the satin varnish together, just to maybe a couple drops of the gloss, mix it up, and then go on it just to give it a little bit more of a shine too. I might have to do that. We'll see how we go. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about for the skirt now. Alright, so I pulled off all the masking. I'm going around it. I got some of my little fine tip tools here, cleaning some edges. What I did is I'm using some makeup here, and I've been going in between these areas here, just darkening this up a little bit over in here and here. Because what it was is I couldn't get the blue paint all the way in there, but now that I darkened it up with some, you know, women's makeup there, so it darkened that up and it just feels a little bit better and stuff. So that looks pretty good. So I'm just going around some areas, just making sure things are kind of tidied up. I'll probably do some little, you know, touch-ups here and there. But it's, all in all, it's looking pretty good. It's pretty much on there. It's kind of a little bit shiny. Gives a little bit silkiness to it. And just running with it. Alright, so it's time to do the t-shirt. So what I did is I masked everything off. We're ready to go. Just a quick tip. What I did is I put a piece of silly putty here and a piece of silly putty over here because You don't want any kind of primers, paints, clear coats going into the hollow brass rod, because if you do, it makes life really difficult when you go to put the arms in there, because it'll grab, maybe it'll stick. So if you keep them as clean as possible throughout the whole process, the arms will go in and out and you never have an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Wicked Colors White for the t-shirt, and then what we'll do is we'll mix up like a 15 to 10% bluish gray shading. What we'll do is we'll use some more Wicked Colors White. We'll put a couple drops of Payne's Gray, Transparency, and then I got some of this other gray here. But the reason why I'll put the Payne's Gray in there is because it's got like a blue tint to it. We don't want to go over blue. So I was looking at the artwork, and her t-shirt's very white, but some of the drawings have like a grayish blue for shading. So that's what we kind of want to go with. And then we're going to try to keep it white though. We're not going to like do any interference or anything like that. We want to just keep a nice t-shirt. I'm not sure yet if we're going to flatten it to matte. I don't think we're going to go to a matte t-shirt. I think what we'll do is we'll do a satin t-shirt. Maybe like half satin, half matte varnish over it, just to kind of keep it there. We don't want to go too flat and make it look cotton. We want to kind of try to keep a little bit life to it. So I think that's where we're at, and we'll just get this painted up now. Alright, so what I did was, as I was working on it, I decided that the gray was just too gray. It was just white and gray, and that was it. So what I'm doing a little bit is, for her, I'm adding a little bit of a blue tint going around. So we have like the dark gray, then we come up with a little bit of a blue tint, and then we go to the white. You can kind of see in the cup what's going on with that. So I got a little bit of a blue in there. So right now it's a little bit mixed up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tone it down a little bit more once I get some more shading coming around here and there. I just want to add a little bit more to this shirt than just, you know, pure white, pure gray. Just give a little bit of that bluish tint there. And I think it's working out pretty good. I think it'll come together. But it's a little bit too much of a blue though, at least in person. So I got to at least tone it down a little bit, but still keep it in there. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more, and then I'll probably hit it, dull it down with some more white, and it should be good. Alright, so I think we're looking pretty good. I'm going to let this dry for about a good 10-15 minutes. I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer. Then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to do a little bit more whites, pure whites on the top highlighted areas, just to kind of take down some blues that I hit by accident. And I think we're looking pretty good, because her outfit, looking online, she's got a lot of drawings where there's like a bluish gray shading on her outfits, whereas like if you're working on Storm, she has like kind of like gray just shading, mostly pure white on her outfits in the comics. If you look at Emma Frost, sometimes they draw her with blue shading, and sometimes it's very bright and maybe some light grayish blue shading. If you look at Power Girl drawings, her outfits kind of are just like a gray shading. So you got to kind of like know the character too, and study them, how they were drawn in that era. So she's got a little bit more of the blue stuff in it, so I'm going to just run with it. Now that I look at it, the way it's shiny now because of the Createx Wicked Color White is kind of like plasticky almost. What I'm going to do is take it down. I think we're going to go more of the cotton look now a little bit more. So what I'll do is I'll do like a, I don't know, 60-70% matte varnish with the rest mixed with some satin. And then hopefully that'll kind of take down the shine a little bit and make it feel like more of like a t-shirt. So once that's all done and it's dried up and we're ready to work on it a little bit more, what we're going to do is we're going to do the symbol and then we'll do the boots at the same time. But what I'll do is I'm going to mask off the symbol and I'll do the yellow first, because yellow is a very, very hard color. You don't want to do the whole entire symbol red and then try to do yellow on top of the red. It's kind of a nightmare. But since the red area is kind of raised up a little bit more, it's better to do the yellow first, and then I could go back in there and I could kind of mask it out. I could do my trim around the S, and then the yellow would be nice and good because we got a nice white background right now, so yellow will go over that really well. So the yellow will really pop too. That's what we want. So like I said, we'll get this dried up, we'll get this set up, and then we'll keep plugging away. Okay, so as you can see, I did the yellow on the symbol, and then we did the red trim around it. Also did the black trim because I want to make sure this black trim is nice and smooth. You could go over with a paintbrush, but for me it'd be easier just to sort of mask it off, and that'll take probably like a half hour or so. But then spraying it will take like 2 minutes. Just do a nice gloss black for that. The symbol, what I'll do is when I mask off the yellow and I mask off the white, I'm going to spray it all red, but then I'll take off the yellow pieces, and then I'm going to gloss it. I'm going to gloss up the symbol. I want the symbol just to be a little bit glossy, make it pop out a little bit more from the rest of the outfit. But when we're doing the red on the symbol, we're also going to do the boots. But the boots I'm going to do like a leather. I was thinking maybe what I might do is like mahogany red leather boots, but I might give it a little bit of a texture. I have to see. I might play with it. Or I could give them glossy boots. I'm not really sure yet. It's either tie up between making them look like PVC type boots, glossy, or give them a little bit of a leather. But thinking maybe toward leather, just to kind of change it up a bit and just have some fun. And then once that's all done, we get that done, we get the black done, the symbol, we'll do the hair last, then we'll add the eyes, and then after that it'll be off camera just trying to get that cape in. I got to do that separate and just make sure it's in there pretty well. And then we'll do the base last. Alright, so we got the symbol done, at least for now. I was going to do the boots tonight as well, but it's got too late. I don't want to push my luck and try to screw anything up with scraping any of the white and the symbol that I did today. So I think it's a good time to stop and let it cure for the night and come back to it tomorrow.